Psychology suggests that some children do not lose their childhood in a single loud moment. They outgrow it in total silence. No one ever sits them down to explain that they are becoming an adult. They simply realize one day that the room is empty and someone must be responsible, and it might as well be them. This is the deep science of the child who grew up too fast. Psychologists call this phenomenon parentification. It happens when a young mind is forced to manage the heavy emotions of a parent or even their own complex fears long before they are biologically ready. In these environments, the brain undergoes a radical adaptation. It learns to bury its own needs in the dirt to ensure the survival of the family unit. These children learn how to stay calm when everyone else is spiraling. They learn how to solve every problem and how to be mature beyond their years. But they also learn a dangerous, invisible lesson that their own feelings must always come last. You see, these children were not born naturally strong. They became strong because there was no other option. Developmental psychology shows that children who cannot rely on consistent emotional support develop a trait called hyper-self-reliance. This is a survival mechanism, not a personality type. They stop asking for help because help never came. They stop expecting comfort because comfort was a luxury they could not afford. They handle the weight of the world alone, even when the burden is crushing their spirit. As adults, these individuals appear perfectly composed, competent, and capable. They are the ones everyone leans on. But internally, they struggle to trust any support that feels temporary. To them, a helping hand looks like a trap. Psychology explains that when emotional development is rushed in this way, it creates a state of split maturity. This means that while their logical brain is operating at the level of a 40-year-old, their inner emotional world remains starving and unmet. They may be wise, serious, and highly responsible, yet they feel fundamentally confused or hollow inside. They never got the time to learn how to need other people safely. Furthermore, people who grew up too fast often associate rest with neglect or even danger. This is rooted in chronic stress adaptation. In a chaotic childhood, when things were quiet, it usually meant that something was about to go wrong. Therefore, as adults, their nervous system stays on high alert. They are forever waiting for the next crisis to drop. They feel uneasy doing nothing. In fact, they only feel useful when they are being used. Research from Harvard and the American Psychological Association shows that this early responsibility creates a core belief that is very hard to break. The belief is this: if I am being taken care of, I am a burden to the world. Because of this, they minimize their pain. They apologize for wanting support, and they feel intense guilt for simply sitting still. To them, receiving care feels foreign. It does not feel like comfort. It feels like a debt they can never pay back. But if you grew up too fast, psychology does not call you broken. It says your nervous system was brilliant. It learned how to survive the pressure before you even learned how to feel safe. You learned responsibility before you learned play. You learned strength before you learned softness. Healing is not about becoming weak or losing your competence. It is about retraining your brain to understand that the crisis is over. It is about learning that you are finally, for the first time, allowed to rest. You have spent your entire life building houses for everyone else. It is time to come inside and be warm. Did you grow up responsible for more than a child ever should? And are you finally ready to put that weight down? If this sounds like you, if you have ever felt the crushing pressure to be the pillar for everyone else while you had no one to lean on, share your story in the comments. We are building a community of people who value depth over hype, and your perspective is what makes this decodification complete. If you value understanding the hidden logic of the human mind, hit subscribe. At The Behavior Decoded, we focus on what matters. We decode what is real.